Today we're going to make a vegan pizza, and we're going to start off by making the dough. First I have my almond milk. Then I'm going to the mixing stage. When you're making the vegan pizza, you have to add basically your heat up your almond milk, and then you add the yeast. So this is the pre-stage of mixing. As you can see, I slowly add my oil, so I'm just waiting for the oil to get incorporated with the dough itself. As you can see, I was trying to speed up the process to make it combine together. It's kind of a little humid today, so when you're making a pizza, um, and the mixing stage, sometimes it can be very sticky. So that's one of the sometimes it's just all about the weather, and based upon the weather, it's just very humid. It The dough sometimes is just not that where you're looking for, in the sense of the texture wise, it can be very sticky, and when it's really hot, you find that the dough is kind of a little bit more on the dry side, but not so sticky. So I turn your mix it start turn your mixer and speed 2 by mixing your dough. And as you can see, it's kind of a little sticky, but I don't want to over mix the dough, so I just take it off and basically let it proof for I would say probably like 15 to 20 minutes, and it's all depends on um, the climate and all this kind of stuff. And if you don't have a proofer, you can just leave it in the bowl, put some flour down in the bowl and just leave it in the bowl, put a plastic over it. Or if you want to speed up the process, you can also put it over like a stove or so, or or put it in the the oven, but turn off the oven, and basically don't turn on the oven, just lightly turn it on and preheat it a little bit. I would say temperature wise should be like at 100-degree inside of it, and just basically put a little water in there. And as you can see, I put the pizza dough on a piece of plastic wrap, because it was getting a little kind of sticky. And then I put some flour down, and as again, you don't want to overwork it. You just basically want to kind of like fold it in, fold some air in it, so it basically nice and proof. You want to gentle roll your dough in a dome shape, and as you can see, the texture after rolling it. And if your dough gets sticky, what you can do, I can give you a trick. You can put some oil in your hand and basically roll the dough, because my hands were kind of a little dry, so it was basically sticking to my hands. And as you can see, you can the pizza is basically getting the stage where I want it. And I put some flour down on the on the surface where you're working on, and just lightly kind of push it together, and kind of put some air in it, so it kind of hold its shape, and the you don't want to overwork it. And as you can see, I'm pushing the pizza down to spread it. And then the next stage you want to do, you want to lift up the pizza dough and put some cornmeal underneath it, because the cornmeal basically help it so it doesn't stick on the bottom surface. And as you can see, if you have any form of rolling pin, that would be a good help. And even if you don't have any rolling pin, anything that you can find to roll out, or you can just use your hands and push it. But I use a rolling pin. I use a marble rolling pin because a marble rolling pin will help, because the rolling pin is pretty cold, so it's not gonna really stick to it. Or if it stick to it, the next trick you can do, just basically use a can spray, which the can spray shouldn't contain with any dairy if you're allergic to dairy, because we're making a pizza, a vegan pizza, so I don't want to add any animal fat in my pizza dough by spraying any. Or you can just use the oil work pretty good. As you can see, I fold the end of the pizza dough, because when it reached to that rising stage in the oven, it will basically have a shape, and things will just basically kind of like fall off in the oven. So basically, I make that shape so it kept everything in together. And I fold the end, and there you go. I add your sauce. Your sauce should be basically, if you're making a pizza vegan, you should basically use the sauce shouldn't contain with any dairy, whatever your preference is. And as you can see, I'm adding my tofu mix that I make, which is vegan, and I spread it all over my pizza. As you can see, I add my I always like to add like two different kind of three different kind of pepper. The red ones and the green ones and the orange one. They both, to me, they both have a different type of flavor, but you can add whatever you like. If you have basically pineapple would be a good flavor to add to it. And also I add my onions, um, lightly sprinkle my onion all over. And tomato for sure is one of the main thing that you want to add on your pizza dough. And as you can see, the last of my final process, which is the second to last, I add um, the carrot, give it the looks of cheese. And there you go. I add all the tomatoes, and that's the final stage after making of finishing your pizza. And that's the final of the pizza, with every all the toppings and everything is on there. So I give you a close-up shot what the vegan pizza look like. And there you go. I add all my pizza, um, all my dough inside of the oven. Then I check it to see how it look. And when you bake in this pizza, you can bake it at 350 or 250 or 225, or or so. That's a good temperature range for baking these any form of pizza. And this is the final stage of the pizza. I take it out of the oven and it looked very great. And this is a cutting stage. And it all depends. And you can give your pizza dough at basically the time for baking process. It all depends on what size you're making. And this is you can I give mine around like 25 minutes because it was very thick. So it all depends on what the size you roll it. And that's the final of the pizza. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you.